It's the first of the MasterChef finals.
I keep pinching myself. I'm like, am I really in the final five? Is this actually happening to me?
I spoke to my children this morning, sleepy-eyed in their beds, and they're like, go on, Mum, you can do it.
You have seen me like a headless chicken in the kitchen. I think I am starting to calm down now. I'm a bit more confident.
To be part of a competition like this is a way of proving that this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life.
Everything is just fine margins now. Everyone's a brilliant cook that's left, and it's just who's the best now.
Whoa, wow, then we are done.
Tonight,
Why did I decide to do this?
the finalists face their biggest challenge so far.
Hurry up.
Cooking for a dining room of lockdown food heroes.
It's so hard doing this for so many people.
It looks good and smells even better.
We've got 5 incredible cooks, real talent, but we're looking for our winner, Mr. Wallace.
I want to see them reach for the skies. I want to see them push themselves to the absolute limit.
Over the past year, the COVID pandemic has reshaped all our lives. And it was nothing short of a catastrophe for hospitality and catering. Despite businesses suffering, many in the industry turned their focus to helping others.
So we're arriving at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. We have about 120 meals today, thanks to our 4 volunteers.
And during the first lockdown, an extraordinary army of food heroes delivered thousands of meals to frontline NHS workers and those most in need.
Welcome to MasterChef Finals Week and welcome to the beautiful Plasterers Hall here in the City of London. Lunching here today are some lockdown food heroes. Very important fundraisers, chefs and restaurateurs. These people have worked hard to help others celebrate their work with an absolutely fabulous lunch.
Today, you are going to be cooking a 5-course tasting menu, and each of you are going to be responsible for your own course and 25 portions of that course. As you can see, I'm in my chef's whites, which means I'll be commanding the kitchen. A massive task, a great honor. Let's kick off these finals in style. Off you go.
25 people. That's a lot of people. Oddly, I'm looking forward to it, yes. What's wrong with me?
It's going to be such an honour to cook for people who've done amazing things during lockdown and helped people out.
John running the service is nerve-wracking. I've seen the show enough times to know that he's got really high standards and that he does run a tight ship in that kitchen.
This is a massive challenge, no two ways about it. 3 hours of cooking, half an hour to get the food on the plates and into the dining room. It might sound a lot, but when you're talking about this volume at this level for a MasterChef final, this is going to be a task and a half.
Well, they must make a plan. What takes the most cooking? What takes the most prepping? What can I leave to the last minute? What has to be done right now from the start? Organisation and planning.
Whoa, wow, then we are done.
The finalists have each designed a dish for the heroes' lunch, based on their own experience of lockdown. And market researcher Madiha is in charge of the starter.
I am making an aloo tikki, which is a potato cake, which will be stuffed with spinach paneer, which is Indian cottage cheese, and some apricots, and then fried, just like fish cake.
She first cooked this dish during a lockdown she experienced as a child living in Saudi Arabia during the Gulf War.
The expats particularly, they couldn't fly back to their homes, airports were shut, everything was shut. So for 3 months, we had about 40 people living in our 4-room house, which wasn't big enough. My dad wasn't a millionaire. He wasn't a rich guy, but he had a heart of gold. He accommodated them, and we cooked every day and night. So it's very personal, it's very emotional. It's got my feelings attached to it.
I can guarantee that Madiha is going to give us beautifully flavoured food. But I want Madiha today to remember that she's not feeding her family. It has got to have style, it's got to be elegant.
Across the kitchen, front-of-house restaurant manager Tom is busy shelling prawns for some wonton dumplings, which he's serving in a coconut broth infused with Southeast Asian flavours.
It's inspired by a dish that my mum does. She does a kind of coconut noodle soup. And obviously, during lockdown, wasn't able to visit my family. So it's kind of that taste of home.
It's a bowl of soup with a wonton, and that means every component part has to pack a huge amount of flavour. The broth has to be really, really full of lemongrass and galanga, so it tastes like a Thai broth. And that wonton, when you eat it, should explode, and all the flavour of prawn should be released.
I'm going to roast those heads, just so that I can get them straight into the broth, so I can infuse plenty of flavour into that broth. That's key to the dish.
To further increase the flavour of his broth, Tom needs to break down every single aromat by hand.
And your ginger and your galanga as well. Just do that to it, it's fine.
Scottish jazz musician Laura's workload is also physically demanding. She's butchering 7 ducks.
You always get it pre-butchered at the supermarket, so this is a first for me.
For her course inspired by her children's favourite takeaway.
At the beginning of lockdown, when things were quite strict, we didn't really go for takeouts or anything like that. But my children really love Peking duck, and I tried to make Peking duck for them, and they loved it, so I thought I would make it today. I'm shredding the duck legs, and I'm also making duck sesame toast instead of prawn sesame toast. And I'm making a glazed duck breast as well with a pea puree. Let's hope they like duck. Duck 3 ways.
So it's sort of Chinese mixture of little morsels. The issue now is making sure all those things belong on a plate together, and it's not like just a plate of tapas.
It's worked at home, so let's hope it works here.
A second meat course is being prepared by telecom sales manager Mike, who's butchering 25 short ribs for an ambitious main course.
So the inspiration for this dish is we had barbecues basically every night through lockdown. I insisted on it, and this is the kind of meat that we can get hold of.
The ribs will take at least 2 hours to roast, so Mike has to race to get them all seared ready for the oven.
You're gonna have to move.
I know. I knew, in the time it's tight. The beginning's the most critical part of this whole dish. These have basically got to get in the oven or you'll get really tough meat.
Three-quarters of that, so 60 times 2, which is 120. Bit risky changing my quantities, isn't it, really, at this stage?
Business manager Alexina is in charge of the only dessert, and she's struggling with the quantities needed for 25 portions of creme pâtissière custard.
I just want to make sure there's enough. You don't want to run out.
Alexina is the one who's going to finish off this lunch, and she is the lasting impression. She is reinventing a cherry bakewell. Reinventing a classic for people in this dining room, that's a massive risk.
It's sort of like a pie, like a custard pie is how I maybe would describe it. I'm serving that with an almond brittle and a morello cherry sorbet. The inspiration is my grandfather, who passed away earlier this year during lockdown, and he loved a bakewell. And for his funeral, I baked a bakewell cake, and that was sort of then the flavours of that was what I wanted to get into this dessert, but elevate it a little bit.
An hour of cooking time has gone. And upstairs, final preparations are underway for the hero's welcome. The March 2020 lockdown was a devastating blow to the UK's 3 million hospitality workers.
My thoughts when the UK went into lockdown was it's only going to be for a short period of time. But the weeks that went on, it got scary. You know, I lost a few restaurants, but you adapt and you overcome. So we ended up doing 2,000 meals a week and gave it to the people that needed it.
The industry came together, helping to feed key workers, school kids, the homeless, and some of the millions of adults who were struggling to put food on the table.
To understand and know that there are people who are going hungry, who could be your neighbours or just a few doors down, really impacts people. So it's a natural response for people to want to help ensure that other people aren't going hungry.
This wave of support contributed to one of the largest humanitarian efforts since World War II.
The silver lining of this pandemic is we've just seen a huge amount of generosity, a spirit in the community that we haven't seen before, and I think things will be different, so I'm very optimistic.
Back in the kitchen, Madiha's working on the sweet potato chickpea salad that accompanies her potato cakes.
It's a little bit spicy, it's a little bit tangy. It's a mixed bag of goodies. And then after that, that will be 2 sauces that I need to prepare. One is a pomegranate sauce and the other one is a yogurt sauce. One down, a few millions to go.
But as well as tackling all the garnishes, there's also a ton of prep to be done on her potato cakes, including balancing the all-important spice mix.
I have to get the spices absolutely right, otherwise it won't taste nice. It will be either too much or too less, and then we're all in trouble.
And frying off the spinach, apricot and paneer stuffing.
It might sound like a little potato cake, but the fact is there's lots and lots of process, lots of intricate work. Okay, so at the moment you've got an hour 45 left over.
My God, time is flying.
Yes, it is flying.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry.
Time is also a concern for Tom. His broth is simmering and he's minced prawns for his wonton filling, but still has to prepare the dough.
It's quite time-consuming, it needs the rest. I really don't want to be making a second batch of this. I'll be happy if everybody gets 2 wontons, I'll be over the moon if everybody gets 3. Which means I'll have to make about 75 wontons.
Cooking for such large numbers is also taking its toll on Laura. Her Peking duck legs are on to simmer, but she's underestimated the work involved in making individual duck toasts for each diner.
So there's 2 bits per serving, so that's 50 pieces. I mean, just look at this. I've got to fry all of these off individually.
But first, the 50 duck toasts all need to be coated in a paste made from soy, ginger, spring onions and duck breast.
Once this job's out the way, you know, it's just a matter of shredding all that duck, which will be a bit of a nightmare. And of course, the inevitability of cooking a million duck breasts at the last minute, but hey!
Mike's also struggling to keep on track. With his ribs still a way off from being cooked, he's adding a broth of stock, Guinness and molasses to ensure they don't dry out.
Oh, come on.
But with service less than 90 minutes away, he also has to push on with his garnishes, which include char-grilled radicchio and a creamy potato dauphinoise.
So the dauphinoise is going to take about an hour and a bit. Last layer now, so just get this layer nice and tidy because this is ultimately the one that will be on show. And then I'm going to put the cream on them and get them in the oven, and then we're a bit calmer.
Mike seems to be quite nervous, and I understand why. The potatoes have to be cooked first, then pressed, then cooled, cut into a rectangle shape and then reheated. Otherwise, it's going to be slop on a plate.
Once these are in the oven, I might start feeling a little bit better. But until then, it's all systems go. Wow. Bit of a creamy disaster.
On dessert,
Why did I decide to do this?
Alexina's cherry sorbet that accompanies her reimagined cherry bakewell is on to churn. But she's struggling with the pastry.
It's just hard to pipe. It's sort of like, this thing is sort of like a batter cum pastry, and it's just quite difficult to work with. The edges are quite thin, so I'm just hoping that it's going to contain the creme pat and the cherries. So I'm just topping the tart with the pastry, neatening it off. Guess what? The time has come. Let me not drop them. That would be a disaster. Please be good.
With service fast approaching, today's guests of honour have started to arrive. They include headmaster Paul Jackson, who enlisted the help of Dorchester Hotel chef Mickey Chan to provide school meals for the local community. Writer and activist Riaz Phillips, who raised money through publishing a digital cookbook. And London chef Jackson Boxer, who joined the effort to help feed frontline NHS staff.
I've always loved my job. However, it's also one that I've always kind of been rather dismissive of. You know, it's not rocket science. You're not saving people's life. You're just cooking people's tea. Let's not take it too seriously. However, at this time, it was the first time in my life where cooking people's tea felt like a really meaningful thing to be doing. And I'm really grateful for that.
Prep time is almost over, and Madiha is well behind schedule.
What are you up to, boss?
I'm just going to put the pomegranate sauce on now.
Come on, we've got to move now, because you've got an hour, and that's it.
Oh.
And we haven't started potato cake yet. If Madiha doesn't move on service, there's a knock-on effect. Everybody starts to run late, which for some might be of some benefit, but for others could actually put them in jeopardy, because things like wontons could be overcooked, duck could be overcooked. I mean, this could be disastrous.
I'm feeling a little bit nervous, but I am on to the cakes, which is the last component that I need to make and fry. But these two take time.
Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. You've done 3, let's go.
Yes.
Right, Tom, how are your wontons doing?
I've got about 40 of them done. I may never make another wonton in my life, now that I've made so many. I'm going to go for the 2 per plate. I'd rather get 2 really nice wontons on per person than 3 where I brush them.
Just so you know, everybody, the first course is leaving the kitchen in 40 minutes' time.
Laura's 50 duck toasts have been fried off, and she's made a start on a pea puree, but she's still up against it.
Bit terrifying, but my duck legs are out the liquor. I've got to shred my duck, and then I've got the duck to pan fry. It's so hard doing this for so many people. I've actually got no clue where I am.
With so much left to do, John's worried she's falling too far behind.
I'm now stepping in to try and get some duck shredded so that we actually get this course out.
I've just cut my finger.
Right, I've just got somebody cut themselves quite badly. That's what happens when people start to rush and panic.
This will teach me, never do duck.
I have really high expectations because these are the finalists, so I've starved myself in preparation.
I'm always looking for sort of interesting combinations of flavours and something that's just exciting, you know, something wow.
It smells good already, I have to say, but I'm expecting great presentation, great flavors, and respect for the ingredients. But I'm looking forward to this, honestly I do.
Okay, guys, we're about to start service. First plate, first course is going in 10 minutes.
Madiha now just has minutes to fry off her 25 potato cakes.
You okay, Madiha? What's wrong?
But the pressure of cooking her late father's recipe is overwhelming her.
What's happened? Emotional day? Yeah, it's a big day, I know.
I mean, who knew? After 30-odd years, I've been making this. It's a shame my dad is not here to see this. He would have been proud.
You give me that. I'll get those out. Go and get yourself, wash your face, you'll be fine. The show must go on.
So the first course is very exciting. Stuffed potato cakes with sweetened yogurt drizzle and mint pomegranate chutney. That sounds incredible.
Madiha, can you come and get the rest of these potato cakes out, please?
Yeah.
Quick.
There's an awful lot of different ingredients there, so it's difficult to imagine what it's going to be like.
That's it. That's a bit of pace. Well done, you. Hey, amazing what a bit of emotion and a tear can do for you, isn't it?
What I'm looking for is a balance of all the ingredients together and the spices. Is it gonna work, or is it gonna be a disaster?
Happy with it?
Yep, I am happy with it.
Good.
It seems kind of like street food, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that kind of transforms into a dinner table experience.
Service, please.
Thank you. Good. Next 6, please. Let's go. 6.
Stunning. This looks absolutely stunning.
Looks nice. Very pretty.
Service, please.
What's really nice is the smell that's coming off it. It smells delicious.
Last little push. Let's go.
Service, please. All done. I hope I have done justice to it. I've put all my feelings, my emotions, my energy, everything into it to bring that to life.
The potato cake, very nicely made, good textures. The spices are well balanced throughout the whole dish. There's a kick to it.
The potato cake aspect was delicious, actually. The potato inside was really fluffy. For me, I thought the balance of sort of heat versus aroma and general spice was really well done.
I love the juice that you're getting from the pomegranate. I love the richness of the yogurt in there as well. I mean, it's a proper limey, peppery, heated mouthful, isn't it? Really good.
Absolutely delicious. I'd eat that any day. And if this is the beginning of a great meal, I mean, how lucky am I?
First course is gone, everybody. Tom, how are we doing?
Getting wontons into steamers. It's totally starting to feel like a professional restaurant service, which is great, it's exciting. I just want to make sure that I get everything up.
After 3 hours of infusing, it's the moment of truth for Tom's coconut Thai wonton broth.
It still needs more salt.
Which is fish sauce.
Yeah. Just waiting on pak choy, and then we're ready to go. Just need to get through the plating now.
Prawn and coriander wontons in a coconut broth would be something I would absolutely choose on a restaurant menu.
The broth needs to have oomph, you know, with great flavors. If it's a bit insipid, that would fall down for me.
Okay, chili oil.
The oil goes in before the wontons because I don't want any oil on the wontons.
I've never tried making a wonton. I would imagine it's quite difficult to do well, to get the texture right, to make sure it's not too kind of dense.
I think they're going to be like interesting textures as well with the crispy shallots and the pak choy, so I'm excited for this one.
Looking very nice.
Service, please.
Right, next steak, let's go. Here you go. You happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Good.
I think it looks absolutely beautiful. Very elegant.
The colours are really popping up to me, and then the way the crispy shallots are done on the top look really inviting.
Service, please. Thank you.
I'm starting to salivate already. I want to try this dish. I want to dig into it. It looks good. It smells even better.
Oh, that's intense. The hardest part of that was a lot of things came together like right at the end. But yeah, I was really happy. They're real heroes, I think, so to be able to put a meal like that up for them, I think is a real honour.
The broth is beautiful. It's got crispness and freshness and a little bit of a hint of spice.
I love the creaminess of the coconut, but I also like that it felt very light. You need a very light hand to get that kind of deft balance.
The pastry around the wonton was maybe a little bit too thick. An abundance of prawns inside was amazing.
I actually really liked the way that the broth and the flavour inside the wontons combined with each other, so that each mouthful was just a delight for me.
Overall, a very good dish. It really matches the occasion.
Having cut her finger, Laura is now pushing to get back on track.
The shredded duck's just reheating. The duck breasts are resting. The duck toasts are just about to go in.
How long are your toasts going to be in for?
5 minutes.
Okay, pea puree.
Yep.
Okay, we're going in 6 minutes.
Big fan of duck. It's my go-to in Chinese, so triple duck. I like the sound of that.
Sorry.
You tell me when you want your duck. I'll flash it underneath it, make sure it's nice and hot. So let's go.
Shredded duck, it takes time. It takes time to cook, to make it tender. In 3 hours, it's borderline. I'm very concerned about that.
If the sesame toast isn't nice and crispy and soggy or greasy, you have issues.
John, can I have the duck breast?
Yep.
You've got a duck breast in there as well, so if it's not nice and pink, we have issues.
Go. Hot. Check your plates, make sure they're all right.
I'm happy. Service, please.
Next 6 plates, straight down, please.
This piece of duck looks beautiful and pink and crispy, so I can't wait to get into that.
Service, please.
Okay, last 6 now, please. Let's go.
The duck breast looks good, but the shredded duck doesn't have that kind of like that flaky, crispy look to it. But we'll give it a go.
Service, please. That was really tough, but I'm pleased. I got through it. That's a big thing. Without setting myself on fire or trying, so that was all good.
The duck breast is perfectly soft. It's almost buttery melt in the mouth. There's crispy skin that's been well seasoned.
I thought the pan-fried duck was delicious. That was well cooked, nice and pink. I thought the shredded duck was lovely texture, so it hadn't dried out.
I am picking up those quintessential flavors of Chinese duck cooking. What I really like is the duck toast. I think it's really lovely. They've got the texture right.
Even the pea puree, it works well with the dish. I mean, very good.
You can see from the plate. I finished it. So I really enjoy it. Thank you.
They look beautiful, to be fair.
Where's your beef?
My beef is in the oven there.
Is it cooked?
Yes.
You checked it?
I haven't, but I'm confident that it's cooked.
Traditionally, for me, short rib is a slow cooker, so to see what they've done with it in 3 hours is going to be interesting.
Put some sauce on them. They're looking a bit dry, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit. They'll be fine. It's literally just that top piece of meat, but they'll taste delicious anyway.
Right, we've got 5 minutes left.
Oh, right.
Potato dauphinoise needs to be beautifully creamy, not too solid.
Praise the Lord, that worked out. They're lovely. They've got enough bite without just being mashed potato.
Let's do the first 6.
Hope it's not over.
Having a lovely, sticky, concentrated, beefy hit with the bitterness from the chargilled radicchio. For me, it all makes sense.
Sauce. Nice, Mike.
Service, please.
It smells delicious, so that's promising.
Come on, we're going to move.
Service, please.
That looks great, and you don't have to worry about the beef coming off the bone. It's away from the bone already.
Well done, Mike.
Thanks, John. Service, please. That was tough. That 3 hours went really, really quickly. I hope they enjoy it. I hope they, appreciate the work that's gone into it.
The short rib It was really well cooked in terms of the flavour of the beef and the tenderness of it and the crispy outside.
The beef was slightly overcooked on some of the ends, but the core of it had a lot of moisture, a lot of flavour.
The potatoes were really creamy and delicious and like maintained the layers and the kind of structural integrity.
There was a lot of work on the plate, yeah. There's a lot to bring together. But I think actually for an occasion like this, very, very well done.
Whew. They are looking a bit overflowing, aren't they? Oh my God, they're... Yeah, actually, I'm going to take those out now.
These tarts from Alexina should be really, really elegant. She's put so much filling in, it's come across the top. And that means there's a lot of work getting them out of the moulds and for them to be precise.
Oh my God, how am I going to do this?
I absolutely love cherry bakewort, and I think that this kind of sounds like an interesting twist on that.
How are we done?
Well, you know, it's not looking exactly how I'd have liked it. Oh my God, what a mess.
I am not a baker, so I will hold my hands up to anyone who can make beautiful pastry.
The pastry does look cooked, to be fair, so that's the main thing.
She has got an icing going across the top. She has got a cherry gel going across the top. Maybe she can cover the sins with those.
I'm just going to put some cherries on top. It will all look fine.
OK.
We can make this look pretty. Oh, this is not as neat as I would have liked it, but anyway, it is what it is.
I'm particularly looking forward to cherry sorbet. I think that's going to be a nice little finishing touch.
Service, please.
This is the final course. It's what we're all going to remember. I think that this is, well, it's going to be the cherry on the cake, isn't it?
Come on, push, push, push. Nearly there.
Service, please. Oh, that is... Wait, no, that is messy. Wait, 2 seconds. There we go, thank you, service. Whew! That was stressful. Getting that consistency and quality across all of them, that's a challenge. But I'm still happy with myself. I'm still proud of what I've produced.
Cherry Bakewells for me is like my childhood, and this was better than what I had as a child. I thought this was the star of the show.
The cake itself, it's got a nice crust and edge, and the inside's light and fluffy, and there's a nice custard at the bottom, which is that extra bit of moisture.
They're quite boozy, the cherries, but not too boozy, which is nice. Nice to have a little bit of a kick.
The sorbet was phenomenal, and the consistency of the cake was really excellent.
It was your favourite dish by far. Just so light and just so flavoursome and just delicious. Perfect end to the meal.
Thank you so much to each one of you for extending your hospitality to us. It feels so special, particularly in these tough times that we're facing as an industry. It was so delicious. I know how much pressure you must all be under, and each dish brought its own fragile magic, so thank you so much.
I know I'll speak for us all. It was an absolute pleasure to cook for you. I feel completely overwhelmed with emotion that you enjoyed it so much, so thanks very much.
How amazing to have been here today and get that reaction from the guests. Probably the best feeling of the competition so far.
Honestly, I was just going to burst into tears. I've got no idea how I held back my tears, but it's been great. It's an honor, to be honest.
A bit overwhelming, seeing all those faces and those people. Such an amazing day. And also, yeah, an emotional one too.
What a fabulous way to kick off finals week.
This was
massive occasion. I think they did brilliantly, brilliantly well.
I'm really impressed with all 5 of them. That gives them confidence for sure. And they'll need that, because very soon, one of them's going to lead the competition.
Today, you are cooking for a place in the final 4.
We want from you a dish inspired by somebody you admire. Now, that could be a musician, it could be a dancer, it could be an author, but there's got to be a reason that you've created this dish. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 hour, 45 minutes. At the end of this, one of you will be leaving the competition. Let's cook.
Good cookery is not cooking by numbers, it's about emotion. What is in their heart, what's in their soul, can they replicate it in their food? Laura reimagines classics and serves them in a different style. It's very, very clever.
If food looks good, it now needs to look fantastic.
This has been the hardest brief so far. There's so many inspirational people, but I went to my musical roots, and the person who was the most innovative in jazz in the 50s and 60s was a saxophone player called John Coltrane. I love John Coltrane's music. It was completely way out for the era. But he is well documented as having a severely sweet tooth. So today I'm making you an apple and custard tart, and I'm hoping today I can, with minimal ingredients, I can make the prettiest little apple tart you've seen.
We've got a pastry case on the outside, short sweet crust pastry, which needs to be paper thin. Inside it, we have got custard, which has got stewed apples, and then on top of that, little caramelised apples. Around the outside, we have meringue kisses, and we have orange tuile. Hopefully those apples are slightly sharp, because everything else is going to be really sweet.
It's a little bit stretchier than normal. It's a really simple looking dish, but it is actually quite complicated. There's 7 different elements on the plate to do within the time frame, so please work.
Medea walked in here as a family cook. Her food tasted great, but it was big and it was bulky.
Her presentation is getting better and better. She just needs to keep it up.
The inspiration behind this dish is the first Mughal emperor, Zahiruddin Babur, who marched all the way to the subcontinent and created the first Mughal empire, which ruled for 300 years. And to this day, you can see their influence on art, cuisine, architecture, every walk of life.
Medea is making for us manti. Manti is a small dumpling filled with spiced lamb. And then she's going to serve the whole lot on chana dal, little yellow split peas, which she's cooking down, and that's going to be flavoured with more spices, and the whole thing's served with a tomato broth flavoured with curry leaves. Never had anything like it before. I'm actually really excited by it.
What's his name again?
Zahiruddin Babur. He brought this dish to the subcontinent, and along the way, it has actually got lots of spices into it, lots of variations, and he used to grant handsomely to his cooks whenever somebody came up with a new innovation with it. The broth is my addition, to give it a little bit of homely, warm texture.
So today, what do you need to do?
I hope I do justice to the dish I'm making. I don't let down an emperor.
55 minutes left. Just 55 minutes.
Mike is ambitious, full stop. For me, sometimes maybe a little bit over-ambitious. But when he gets it right, it's delicious.
So the inspiration for this is Captain Tom Moore. He raised loads of money for charity during the pandemic. And I think he made a lot of people proud to be British again.
So I wanted to do something to reflect that post-war era and his achievement as well. You know, so what's more British than a roast dinner?
Mike is using a partridge, very small game bird, which he's going to just pan fry and baste in huge amounts of butter because he doesn't want it to go dry. That's great. He's taking the legs off the partridge. He's going to fill those legs and then crumb them and deep fry them. We've got roasted parsnips and roasted potatoes.
It's close to disaster.
Red cabbage, a cauliflower cheese puree. We've also got bacon jam. I mean, there's so much going on this plate.
I had played around with Swiss chard and caramelised carrots and bits and pieces like that, but Captain Tom Moore was a war veteran. Post-war wasn't caramelised carrots and it wasn't Swiss chard, so I'm trying to keep the essence of a roast and try and make it look nice on a plate, but without all of that vibrance of colour, so it's going to be interesting.
I think that's great. And the competition, how's it impacting on you personally?
The competition is all-consuming, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving being here. I'm loving cooking every day. It's what I want to do.
Alexina is a daring cook. She takes a classic idea and puts with it a little gem which is sometimes divisive. She puts herself under huge amounts of pressure, but it takes her to the wire, and that can cause mistakes.
All right, bit of thickening action happening now.
A lot of work from Alexina, a lot of technical stuff. We have a Genoise sponge, which is a light sponge, and she's going to layer that with some grapefruit curds. And then around the outside, we've got shards of meringue. The whole thing is served with a milk and honey ice cream. And then we have a Campari and grapefruit jelly as well. Grapefruit is very, very bitter. So is Campari. And this is the dangerous world that Alexina likes to live in.
The inspiration for this is Francesca Hayward. She's a principal at the Royal Ballet. I love the ballet, and Swan Lake was the first ballet I ever saw. It's just so striking when they all come out in their white tutus and against the dark background. I'm sort of echoing that in my presentation today.
I need to ask you this. Are your timings absolutely sound?
I practiced. I know what I should be doing at what time. There are a lot of things that need to set.
Are you going to get them all done?
Yeah.
On time?
Yeah.
Without getting in a panic?
Yeah.
Do you promise?
Yeah, I promise. I solemnly promise. This has also got a personal element to me, this dish, because one of my dear friends called Robert, who introduced me to the ballet, passed away due to COVID earlier this year. So this is really like a tribute to him.
You have 30 minutes left, everybody. 30 minutes, OK? Tom, at his best, marries European technique with flavours of the East, whether that be Japan, India or Thailand.
I've always tried to take risks in this competition, and I think now more than ever at this stage, it's the time to do it because I want to show both John and Greg exactly what I can do in the kitchen. So, you know, you have to pull out every stop.
Tom is making us a chocolate brownie, which should be crispy on the outside and soft and spongy in the centre. He's serving that with baby beetroots, which is sweetened. Then he has got a blackcurrant gel, purple basil leaves, which are savoury, a black sesame ice cream, toasted Japanese black sesames into a black ice cream. Adventurous, I mean really adventurous.
Why black sesame?
So this dish is inspired by Hayao Miyazaki, who's a Japanese animator, and one of his films, Spirited Away, has got this character called No Face in it, which is this black spirit. So that character led me to the black sesame. And interestingly, a lot of the films have really great animations of food in them, so I don't know whether that's maybe why I like them. But I also wanted to show that I can take inspiration from less obvious places, like, for example, an animated character.
Fabulous. We have 10 minutes left, and that's all we have. We have 10 minutes.
The time's gone flying in today.
The thing that I am probably concerned about is the dumpling cooking within time.
5 minutes, just 5 minutes, please.
The breasts are perfect, exactly how I wanted it.
My sponges are a little bit, not quite as fluffy as I'd have liked, but I think everything else is okay.
60 seconds left.
Oh, Lord.
Time's up. Thank you. Time's up.
For her place in the final four, Laura has taken inspiration from John Coltrane's Sweet Tooth by serving an apple and custard tartlet, topped with caramelised apples, orange tuile, and meringue kisses.
I think it looks fantastic, Laura.
Thank you so much.
You have a crunch on those apples at the top, which just gives me a little bit of respite from the amount of sugar that's in there. Your pastry is buttery, crisp on the outside and thin as paper on the bottom. Really beautiful work. I don't have a massively sweet tooth, but I really like this dessert.
You've got the vanilla custard that hasn't got too much sugar in it, and then the little discs of apple have natural apple juice. So the balance there for me is absolutely wonderful. However, meringue is taking it into a sugary place I don't want to go. I don't think it adds to it. I think it even detracts from it.
I was happy with the comments. It was a really sweet dessert, I knew that. I'm surprised it was John that liked the meringues and not, not Greg.
Madiha's Emperor Barber-inspired dish is a manti dumpling filled with chili and cumin lamb mince, chana dal split peas flavoured with garam masala and garlic, with a mint and lemon verbena oil, garlic yoghurt, and a tomato and chili broth.
A lot of garlic in that yogurt.
Yes.
The dough on the outside of the manti is nice, it's nice and soft. Inside that lamb has got lots and lots of cumin and coriander. That's really good. But I'm being bombarded by one thing, garlic. There's garlic in the sauce, there's garlic in the lentils, there's garlic inside the filling, and there's garlic on top of that yogurt. It's too much for me to cope with. The lentils are a little bit firm. You want them al dente? I think a lot of people will think they're not cooked enough. I don't think they're cooked enough.
I've got a texture issue. I find the textures unusual. I've always thought of dal as a wet thing in itself. To then have a broth on top of dal is maybe confusing me a little bit.
They were fair in pointing out a few things. Any silly mistake can cost you, which I hope it doesn't cost me today, honestly.
Captain Sir Tom Moore inspired Mike's roast dinner of pan-roasted partridge breast with deep-fried partridge leg lollipops, bacon jam, roast potatoes, roast parsnips, chestnut and wild mushroom crumb, cauliflower cheese puree, braised red cabbage, and a chicken and Madeira gravy.
Your partridge breast I find perfect, perfectly soft. I love your little lollipop. There's a sweetness to that as well as the crispiness on the outside. Your crumb, nicely seasoned. However, it's a real shame you've put too much salt in that sauce. It's very salty.
Don't take away from the star of the dish, because that partridge is cooked so beautifully, soft, buttery, melt in your mouth, and it is a revelation as far as cooking partridge for an amateur, because I think that is as good as most chefs will do.
I'm so glad that that partridge was cooked really well. Just kicking myself a little bit for that sauce. As I put that extra pinch of salt, I was like, oh, but it is what it is. Can't do anything about it now, can I?
Alexina's Swan Lake Ballet-inspired dessert is a star anise-infused Genoise sponge layered with a grapefruit curd and served with grapefruit and Campari jelly, meringue shards, and a honey ice cream.
Is the jelly jelly, or is the jelly gone back to non-jelly?
De-jellied, melted a little bit.
Grapefruit has an enzyme which
Yeah.
means gelatin breaks down very quickly.
Right, okay.
There are a couple of technical issues here. The sponge is too firm and the jelly hasn't set. However, it tastes fantastic. There is an aniseed licorice flavour in that sponge, which is beautiful with the sharpness, I mean, real sharpness, almost wakes you up of that grapefruit. Really good indeed. And if that becomes too much for you, you have got beautiful honey ice cream on there. That honey ice cream, I'd eat a pot and then go and buy another pot.
Your meringues, wafer thin, really, really wonderful. The star anise running through the sponge, inspired. Your ability to be able to take very strong, bitter, sharp flavours and marry them together with majesty, I think is incredible.
Overall, really pleased. I think, sorry. Oh, okay, don't cry. Yeah, I think Robert would have been, God, stop. Yeah, I think Robert would have been proud.
Last up is Tom, with his Japanese animation-inspired chocolate brownie, served with blackcurrant gel, purple basil, sweet baby beetroot, yogurt mousse, black sesame paste, and black sesame ice cream.
Tom, I don't know whether to eat it or frame it. It's like a piece of art.
Your silver ice cream with sesame, of course, beautiful smooth ice cream, but it's got a nuttiness like a sweetened peanut butter. Absolutely lovely. Your chocolate brownie is gooey, lots of rich cocoa chocolate. I love the beetroot because beetroot's got sweetness. I like the basil, it's an aniseed tang. I think it's absolutely fantastic, Tom.
Love it.
Thank you.
It's imaginative, it's original, it's daring, and it's delicious. Not bad for a brownie and ice cream, Tom.
Not bad at all.
I feel amazing right now. To get such great feedback is just, it's quite overwhelming, actually.
What an extraordinary start to the finals. Huge amounts of talent, but we've now got a decision to make.
Sad, I think, to lose one of them at this stage, but that's the competition.
Do you have a cook of the day?
I have a dish of the day in here today, and that was cooked by Tom.
I totally agree with you.
I thought his dessert took his food to another level.
I think we can safely say Tom's got himself a place in the next round. Mike makes the odd mistake. His sauce was over-seasoned, but only ever so slightly. The thing I admired the most was the way he cooked that partridge. It was soft and melt in your mouth.
I love what Alexina dreams up. I really do.
I mean, flavour-wise, it was fantastic. It danced on the palate.
However, the jelly didn't set properly and the sponge was too firm.
Laura divided you and I. We were divided over the use of meringues.
Yeah, I think it was too sweet. But the tart itself was nothing short of delicious. Madiha spices food beautifully. But today, I had a dumpling on top of lentils and a broth. I simply didn't understand it.
There was garlic in everything, and I found that really overpowering.
I can't think of going home now. It's so close to the end. It's right there. I just want to go all the way through.
If I went home, it would be bittersweet. I miss my children, you know. That would be a prize, going home to see them. But, you know, they can wait a couple of more days, I think.
I'm just praying that I do get through. I know I can get to the standard they want me to get to.
If I'm honest, I'm not sure if I've done enough. I think, you know, there's 4 amazing cooks in there as well. But I would be gutted.
Just cast your mind back to when you first came in here and how much you have changed as cooks. What you are doing right now is fabulous. You've come such a long, long way.
The first contestant going through to the next round, Tom.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Very, very good. Madiha, Alexina, Laura, and Mike. Sadly, one of you is leaving the competition. The person leaving us Madiha.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for a great, great competition.
Thank you.
Very much enjoyed having you part of the competition.
I knew it. I actually had that feeling in my heart. I have given all I had with my emotions, with my love, with my passion of cooking. It's been amazing.
You are our fantastic 4.
Well done, guys.
I'm still taking it all in. It's crazy to think that's one of the top 4 this year. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
I'm over the moon to be here. I'm over the moon to be cooking again. It doesn't get any easier.
Final 4, unbelievable. It's like a dream. It literally could be anyone's game because everyone's phenomenal. So it's going to be a real, real fight.
Absolutely beyond any expectation. Might fit in 1 glass of wine, I think, tonight, yeah, to celebrate on my own again, you know.
Next time, the last 4 battle for a place in the final 3.
Yes, panic stations there.
Ooh. I honestly cannot get enough of this right now.
I am really, really impressed here.
And face their most daunting challenge yet, Chef's Table. Under the guidance of world-renowned chef, Michelle Roux Jr.
Get a move on, come on. Keep going, keep going. Keep that intensity. And let's go.